We made a game in 48 hours about placing lights and not running out of power for the Kenny Game Jam 2025. You're in a dark, foggy maze, placing lights to reveal the path ahead, but every second those lights drain your power. Find materials hiding in the fog to upgrade your power production and try to last as long as possible. Halfway through the jam, we thought our game was a flop. It wasn't fun, the mechanics weren't really clicking, and then one small change, adding fog, completely turned it around. So a friend and I made a game for the Kenny Jam 2025. In addition to the theme power, we also had to use only Kenny and K-Kit 3D models. Initially, this was just going to be a simple grid of floor panels that we got from this dungeon pack. Then every once in a while, I would put one of these metal ore panels or this chest down to make sure that there were materials and actual things to explore for. But like a kid in a candy store, my eye was drawn to that massive 5-pound gummy bear that is procedural generation. That's right, for a 48-hour game jam, we procedurally generated our grid using an algorithm called random walk or drunkard's walk. I'm not going to say I completely understand this algorithm, but I swiped some code for it from ChatGPT, fixed a few issues, added a seeding system so we could regenerate grids that we liked, and boom, it just kind of worked. So honestly, I'm actually really glad we did this because it was way quicker in hindsight than having to actually make a level that was well balanced. We could easily just reduce the amount of metal that spawned just by changing a number. At this point, we needed to get the lighting system working. At first, Unity's light system made the most sense, but we quickly found out that while it was atmospheric, it was also really unclear what you could and couldn't interact with. If something was like kind of in the shadows, was it still interactable? I don't know. To fix that, we tried replacing the darkness with like black panels that disappeared when you placed the lights. This made the rules crystal clear. If you couldn't see it, you couldn't interact with it. But it was kind of ugly. At this point, I was feeling pretty unsure of how this game was going to work out. It just wasn't looking as cohesive as I wanted it to. Then we added fog. Suddenly, it clicked. It kept that same clarity, but now it actually looked like a real game. Granted, it definitely still needs a lot of polish, but there's atmosphere there. It made the maze feel mysterious and actually made the lighting mechanic like satisfying to use. You could place a light and then the fog cleared and you could actually see metal or no metal and like you actually had a reason to explore. So finally, with probably at least 50% of the second day gone, we had to get a working upgrade system or else this game wasn't really a game. We had to establish priority and make some sacrifices. We need basic sound effects, but maybe we can go without a start or pause menu. Which, spoiler alert, we did not make a start or pause menu, but whatever. The hardest sacrifice, I think, was actually the tutorial though. Because without a tutorial, this game doesn't really make that much sense. You're just kind of thrown into this world with like an energy counter. But at least it's functional, and there is a written tutorial in the itch like site on the page, but we just did not have the time to make a tutorial. That would be like the first thing that I would do if we were to pick this game back up. So we went from relying on the light system in Unity to removing black panels of darkness when you placed lights to revealing the maze through fog. And coincidentally, a cool name for the game, Fog Breaker, came from that fog mechanic. So 2 additional things I want to mention real quick. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a bit. I hope to get back into semi-regular uploads soon, but I got a job, which is awesome, but I obviously have a lot less time to make videos and I need some time to figure out my schedule. Secondly, thank you guys so much for helping this channel to reach 100 subscribers. I'm honestly so grateful, and I never thought we would get this far, but it's really cool to see little indications of a community forming here. I'm excited to hopefully see more comments and engage with you all a little bit more, and hopefully we can make some cool things along the way. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.